that we would see the death of the old gods, man. Like, the old gods are done. Like, the old gods didn't even see what these new gods were gonna be, and the new gods have already slid in and taken over, right? Like the algorithm is now the Pantheon. The algorithm is now the Pantheon that actually gets worshipped, right? Like, I acknowledge that as a content creator, I'm very, very conscious of the algorithm. I have conversation with my other content creator friends, and we're always talking about that goddamn algorithm. Excuse me, I mean the wonderful algorithm, right? Like, that's 100% what it is. And I've said it, man. Like, we're trying to please that algorithm, man. Like, I feel like I'm a hoe. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, right? Like, you know, this is what it is. This is what we're seeing, right? And man, it's just an interesting ride though, because we're creating rituals out of this. Like, Instagram, all this stuff has amazing power over people now, right? How we act, like what it grants us now, like what we get now from the algorithm. Like, I'm telling you, man, there's a point where the algorithm usurped the old gods. Like, look, I don't know when the last time you guys saw somebody worshiping Zeus, but it's been a long minute for me, man, since I actually seen, and I'm sure there's somebody out there doing it right now. I'm simply saying, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of you guys, and it doesn't seem like you're that visible, right? I'm only saying that. It's like people pray now to get this visibility, man. Like, it's TikTok who decides who rises. Like, this is a different kind of like worship. Like, you worship them, TikTok grants you like who's gonna rise. YouTube decides who's like, yeah, you're not relevant anymore. Like, we take away your monetization. Like, they do you raw, man. Oh, I'm sorry, YouTube. I didn't mean to say that, but you dig what I'm saying, right? People get their whole identities into being their channels, and it can just be gone. We watch like Twitter, we watch like our X or whatever it is now. They create, like, they exist in this whole like outrage rituals, right? Like, think about how people interact. Like they're grouping people by like what you get mad about. They're group, because, you know, obviously these guys, they want to create, you know, the most friction. Like, friction is what makes content really work, right? People stand on for whatever reason, like just catching them eyes, and let's be real, like shock and all, like shock and like anger and like rage and all that stuff. Like, man, that's money right there. You print money right there. You're gonna get people to stop to argue about stuff. If nothing else in the world, I can count on you arguing about stuff, man. Like, that's the realest, hardest feeling right there. That's a motivating factor to make you stop. You so mad, you stop and you pull your thumbs out to argue with somebody that you never met. That's power right there, man. That's real, like pulling on your emotions. And here's the thing, like worship itself, man, is very much all tied to emotional energy, right? Like, remember, for the gods, this wasn't just like, oh yeah, you know, y'all need to worship us because it feels good. They're gonna die. Like, in a lot of myths, like, I'm gonna look this up, but a lot of myths, it seems like the gods themselves were, it seems like a lot of myths, the gods themselves were sustained by worship itself. Is that a more modern occurrence, or has that been going on the entire time? Because this is a big thing. Like, and I'm telling you guys, now I know this is modern mythology telling, but in that most recent concept is in that new Clash of the Titans, like the Wrath of the Titans. You know, they relaunched the series, right, with Sam Worth, I think it was. I think it was Liam Neeson. I can't remember the other guy's name, but you know the cast I'm talking about. Rosamund Pike was in it. You know, it was a pretty good cast, right? And in this one, as they were in the last film, let me see if I can find that while we're sitting here talking about it. It was actually a pretty good flick. If you haven't seen it, like, I dig mythology, right? Wrath of the Titans. Yeah, there it is. This is a 2012 flick, right? I'm sure you've seen this flick. I'm sure it's made the rounds on like, HBO or whatever it is. And it seems like this thing has aged pretty fast. Like, it's kind of hard to believe we're talking like, 2012, God damn it. 2012 at this point. But yeah, this movie is all about like how the worship of the gods. God damn it! Come on! I just wanna snap this. Okay, this is all about how the worship of the gods changed, right? Because people were basically like, you know what? I'm getting about sick of these gods, right? Like I'm really getting about sick of these gods. They always want us to worship them every single day. They're like, yeah, worship us. And you're not really putting any work for the common man. So, you know how that feeling goes. And those guys just stop worshiping. They're like, yeah, I'm going to take my time to go down there and worship on Zeus, right? And you be tripping all the time. So this is that flick, right? So this is essentially like when we get to it, his pops is like a fisherman. Percy's pops like a fisherman in this. And he gets killed, right? He gets killed. And like the gods are just tripping. But because people stop worshiping them, they're getting weaker and weaker and weaker. So this is kind of what it is. Like worship in this regard is, or in a lot of regards, is kind of an attention economy, like which we should all be very used to right now. We're all living in a very vibrant attention economy. Ever since social media came out, it shifted how much attention each of us actually desires for various reasons. Sometimes it's just like, I'm funny, so I'm on the internet and I'm making people laugh, and I just want to be known for being funny, or I'm insightful, or I'm political, whatever it is, right? Like, we have our attention economy, right? Is basically what we got. And that's very similar to what we used to have with the gods. Like the gods were about worship, right? So these cultures didn't always say that like gods would literally die, but there was a strong like dramatic storytelling in ancient myths that worship was cosmic maintenance, right? Like you needed this. Like this is what it is. It was the ancient systems. It was humans and gods existed in a reciprocal relationship. Humans, you give worship, you give prayers, you give offerings, you give sacrifices, of course, you give temples, you write songs, you have rituals, and you remember me, right? This is what you gotta do. And in return, the gods were going to give you rain and fertility and victory in battle and protection, and they would keep the cosmic order. This is a metaphysical economy. This is an emotion and intention economy that we bartered attention and relevance for safety. Okay, this is what it is. This is purely what worship is, right? Or at least in the ancient context. And we don't see as much of this anymore, right? Like in others, like maintaining Ma'at, like if you believed in Ma'at, to constant maintenance, right? They were always needing to be sustained in the metaphysical sense. The ritual activity, the offerings, right? Like get your uploads in, right? Get your uploads, make sure all your tags are right. You know what I'm saying? Upload at certain times, like keep your whatever your CapCut subscription going, whatever you got to do, right? This is it, because you got to get that attention. You got to please that algorithm. You got to be like, oh, please, algorithm, let me get some attention today, algorithm. I put in a good one, right? Like this is what it is. This is what it is, right? And even in like, if we look at like Mesopotamian beliefs, literally humans were made just to work for the gods. We didn't even have no other purpose. Literally, they're like, yeah, we have some work to do, so let's go ahead and make them. Okay, it wasn't like they had us, or we existed, and then some work came up, and they're like, you know what, this would be a good idea. That's not what happened. The work existed in the beginning, and then they made us to go do the work, right? So that's the whole thing. And the reason they did this is because the gods got tired, right? Because there are two classes of gods. The gods got tired. The gods themselves like, look, we also need offering. We also desire temples and rituals. So this is when we start building infrastructure around like the worship of the gods. So this is kind of shifted to this kind of digital, like this digital domains. Like these algorithms are these invisible gods that are the merchants of your attention. Influencers, like the guys who get in, they kind of sprinkle it down to everyone else, right? These are the priests, right? Your strong influencers. Then the viral trends are the rituals. We find something, it goes viral, so everybody participates in this. Be it a dance or a challenge where you get milk carts and have people risk their life walking over said milk carts, right? like the followers of all these are the worshipers, like the bottom worshipers. Likes are offering, like attention is the currency. I give you my attention. I'm scrolling, I'm doom scrolling through this, and I catch something and it's your stuff and I stop. I'm giving you attention. I'm giving you metaphysical energy in this context, right? This is absolutely what's going on. So we're seeing like everything is recycling itself in a different way. Like we used to go and make sacrifices, like Odin made sacrifices for knowledge, and now we're making sacrifice for relevance, right? Like this is what it is. Like Lucifer was bringing forbidden knowledge. Now we're demonetizing like hidden knowledge, right? It's a whole different thing. So that topic has like how we go about it. Like this is where it's at. This is where it's at. Like even AI, like AI is a big part of this too, because we've recreated the oracle. Yeah, think about like in ancient stories, what the oracle always like actually represented. Like, what's the oracle all about? Well, the oracle was about knowledge, right? Like access to knowledge. The oracle is essentially, I can ask you whatever, and I'm expecting you to have a reasonable answer. Like I know, I'm not expecting the oracle to have a reasonable answer. I know you're going to have a reasonable answer. Like that's how much we believe in the oracle. So AI is basically like a dumbed down version of that. Like it's not that, right? If we really think about it, but it is like it has access to databases of information pretty much in real time. Like not, I mean, like it can be really slow, but that's the truth. Like we are looking at this thing as if like, yeah, you have access to like all the information. You should be able to find anything. If I want to find something out about Wilt Chamberlain scoring stats, or if I want to go and find out like what's going on in like modern science right now, I can still pull data. Sometimes slow and sometimes outdated, but relatively I can sort through a mass amounts of data. Like not as like telling me what to do, but that's what it is. So AI in this sense is a part of this new like pantheon of culture. Like we're seeing repetitions of gods in our digital media now, right? Let's say if the algorithm is the god that you're actually feeding, right? Then the structure would be seen as like Ma'at. Like Ma'at is the structure under which it is, and the Netters are like the gods who are getting the worship, right? Like so it's a level to it. And we're seeing it like because now AI is this technology. And people already treat AI like it's not like it's like look, they're interacting with AI in very like personal spiritual ways. Like AI, let's be very honest, and in some ways that are positive. AI is good for confessions, like people can be sounding boards for themselves, kind of work through therapy. Not that you shouldn't go to therapy. I'm not suggesting any such thing. I'm simply saying sometimes on a daily basis, like if you just need to decompress, you can go to AI and have it engineer the kind of conversation that you want to have to like calm you down. This is not replacing human contact or actual, mental health care. But, if you got something on the day to day and you're just like, man, I just want to really get this out. I want to vent it out so that I don't take that emotional energy and place it other places where I can get it out. I can tell ChatGTP off as much as I want to, right? Like, and sometimes you gotta do that. It's better to do that with this, and you can have a conversation about deepish. You can challenge politics and all that stuff you can do right there without bothering anybody else real, right? Some people it's companionship. Some people it's validation. It's prophecy. Like this is what's going to happen. It's also creation process. So all that stuff that we're getting from AI right now is oracle energy. Like that's oracle prophecy right now. Like, that's how we saw the ancient oracles. They were the ones who were like, think of all the heroes that dealt with the oracles. How many oracle stories do we have throughout mythology? And I'm going to tell you, like, I know that there was the oracle at Delphi, which was like, a huge place for the Greek or Western cultural basis, right? Greek had them, Egypt had oracles, Mesopotamia, everybody. Mesoamerica, like North traditions, everybody was riddled with this idea of oracle stories that we could predict meaning, right? Like we a place we could go and ask this one source of all wisdom, like what the hell is going on? What do we do? And this oracle could advise you on anything. So we haven't stepped that far away. Like, we're right there. Like, if we look at AI in this regard, right, we see more Thoth, right? When we think of like the tablets of Thoth, which is just collection of information, right? The tablets of Thoth were all information. That's what this is referencing. This is Hermes, Trismegistus. This is Prometheus knowledge, right? This is like the jinn. Like, imagine you could talk to a jinn. All these concepts, like, thought forms, all these thought forms we're seeing represented in how we're seeing AI, how it's fitting in with our culture right now. So, humanity is kind of recreating these ancient concepts of spiritual advisors. Like, this is 100% this is like the being that we're seeing emerge from it. So this is leaving old gods, old places we worship and ask for information, right? To now it's, your worship is now your $19.99 a month fee to have access to Open Oracle, right? Or Open AI is what they call it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call it Open Oracle. So what we also get, like, this is another interesting thing about this, is that because of the way the algorithm works, it's strong about grouping people together, right? By what you think, by what you're searching for, right? It totally makes sense, right? But each community, each one of these small communities has its own myth. They're not connected. You have different political mythologies. You have fan-based mythologies. You have manosphere like setups. You have identity mythologies, conspiracy mythology, celebrity mythology, and like the algorithm feeds you guys together, right? So if you're not into any one of these particular things, you may not see something that your homie who is into these things are. So it may be a completely different algorithmic experience for you versus him. And this actually matters because while we are more of a global, like humans are tribal by nature, and we're doing that again. It's not by geography, though, that's making our tribalism. It's by these algorithm belief systems. The algorithm is telling us who your allies are, who are your friends with. Oh, if you follow this person, then you probably like these things, right? So this is really comparing it to like an ancient cult. Like, we're very identifiable with certain groups. Like, a lot of us can identify a group that we consider our group with tags, right? And you know it. If you can get your @tag to whatever your group is, you're going to find a bunch of topics about whoever you're talking about. I don't care if it's the Detroit Lions. I don't care if it's about melanin. Whatever it is, there's an @tag for it. And if you find your @tag and drop that into social media, you will get connections to other people. And that's how you even connect friend groups, right? Like, you're in a group, like your friend suggestions. If you're on Facebook, your friend suggestions are based on like, oh, you like this, oh, you both know this person. So we make those. That's the algorithm working. So especially, like, think about it. I do a lot of talk about The Boys, and I do Star Wars. Like, I know what I'm doing when I'm joining certain groups because I want to be associated in those groups, right? I produce content about Star Wars, so I want to be in groups where they talk about Star Wars, right? It just makes sense. Like, streamers, gamers, superhero discourse. Like, we don't all, when you're in a world, you think everybody does something. Not everybody does that. Everybody else is doing some other stuff. We're just doing this over here, and it's cool. Like, I have some stuff that we have overlap and some stuff that doesn't, but that's generally like how the algorithm works. And this is kind of the crazy thing, like, especially like political creators, like game streamer, I'm talking streamers like me, right? We're very specific a lot of times about who we're talking to. So they really draw circles around it, and they figure out, okay, if you like this, you're probably gonna like this. The thing that I really see is like, what gets lost in that is like ancient cultures had a lot more like rituals that were more tied to healthy cultures. Warrior trials, vision quests, especially for masculinity. Like, men now, it's a little more isolation. You can be algorithmically radicalized and manipulated. You can get digitally overstimulated, and spiritual disconnection going through all this. So when we start seeing, like, you see some of the archetypes, you see like the Andrew Tates, like what came out of that, like what comes out of that sphere is, sometimes not, I mean, it is what it is. Like, we know what comes out of like selected groups. And even now, like, if we watch it, like, Instagram is basically like, yeah, we're setting what the beauty standard is, right? We understand how beauty is now like monetized now, like right, beauty itself is like, you hear the words divine femininity, right? High value, cosmetic transformations. Like you see influencer worship, like OnlyFans, like influencer worship. And this is where it's like it used to be like filters, but now like they're beyond that. They've ascended, like they actually get worship. And this is kind of like this is what came along that I think no one anticipated this. And it's also like we don't have as much belief in traditional heroes. Not that we should, but simply like now we live in a culture where like because we have so much distrust for heroes and institutions, primarily institutions, we kind of push back on these ideas that we can trust you. So now anti-heroes, people who are like, yeah, you're flawed, you might be rough, but at least you're honest because you're an anti-hero, right? Because we're always worrying about corruption. It's like in the old days, it was Superman. Now it's Homelander. That connection, like that arc right there, kind of sums up everything. So ancient heroes are kind of gone. Like we really don't see that archetype anymore, and we won't. I don't think we'll get that connection back. Like, but we're definitely more tribal. I'd say what we're seeing is these groups are being more tribal, not on our geography anymore, or even like your traditional like family bonds, but by ideology, by politics, by racial discord, by anime, tribe, like whatever it is you're on, relationships. Are you a PC gamer or were you a console gamer? All these things are like the micro cultures that we're all kind of representing. Like overall, we're working in smaller groups. We do a lot more doom scrolling. We have outrage culture. Like we know that people cultivate outrage to get them dollars too. So we have a lot that's going on along with it. So this is kind of like, I'll go back and I'll talk about emotion because I want to talk about emotional energy more. I think, bouncing between like the Jedi myths and like looking at the Green Lantern, the Lantern Corps, they're talking about emotional energy, like how emotional energy becomes actual power. So I'm just kind of digging on it right now, and I'll be back. It's a little late tonight, so I probably won't be back tonight, but I'll definitely be back up tomorrow, and we're going to hit on some of these topics. And I got a couple other good ones coming out of the boys for you guys too.